you to our live. For those who are joining us for the first time, we are Valley Noble. We're an education consultant company helping international students prepare to study here in Australia. For those, again, who are joining us for the first time, I'm Charlene, and also on our live, we have.
Hi, I'm Silves.
And I'm Aponi.
Good morning, guys. And
Oh, morning.
Oh,
It's a struggle this morning, I tell you.
it's cold here in Queensland, and it's 7 o'clock here as well.
Yes.
So today is our Wellbeing Wednesday, and today we wanted to focus mostly on homesickness and give some tips to those international students who are studying here in Australia and who may be struggling with being away from their families and from home. So I'll give the time to Puni to start off with our tips, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, Puni, I'm just going to jump in really quickly because we have a couple of viewers that we wanted to say a quick hi to from Canberra, Australia. They're going to be jumping in to see us a little bit later. So Lexi and Othniel, hello and welcome to our live stream. And also a big shout out to Mimi, it's her birthday today. So we just thought we'll drop that in first. So happy birthday.
I like to start off with a couple tips, and let's get started. So my first tip is schedule video calls with friends or family or anyone that's relatively close to you, because it's always good to keep a good connection while you're overseas, because you don't have that contact I guess in person, so it's always good to keep that connection going. So you can use apps like Zoom, Skype, and FaceTime to do all of those. And my second one is messaging apps. So using messaging apps to keep in touch with family members, because when you're overseas you always get homesick, and you're not used to being away from your family or friends. So keeping in touch using messages is a good and important way to keep in touch. And my third and final tip is sharing photos and videos. So I guess to keep the experience, or kind of like being with your family still, is sharing photos and videos. So I guess it's like kind of like living the experience with your friends and families when you share photos and videos, because you can see what they're up to and see what they've been doing. So yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, Pony. And I think too, like there's for your older family, so like maybe your grandparents, especially if they don't have things like our messaging apps, they may not have those available. Even if you're able to help them to create a little website where you can share your photos and videos. So Google Photos is a really great way to be able to share that with them. But yeah, I know when I was studying overseas, my grandma or my nana, that was something like she cherished, was just getting photos from us. So yeah, great advice. Great tips there, Puni. What about you, Shah? Do you have any in that sort of space?
So when I was an international student, I used like Facebook a lot, because I think that was still quite big back then. Instagram kind of just was still somewhat new. So it was mostly using those apps and staying in touch. Skype was a big thing.
Yeah.
So it was video calling using Skype, and also using Skype as a phone as well, but you had to pay for that. Yeah. Because we didn't have enough money to have phones. So, but that kind of like with what Puni said, it kind of brings your family on the experience with you. So it's like they're living through you type thing as you share your photos and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so, Sylvs, I know there's some tips that you have.
Yeah. Let me get into those. So this probably was a big one when I was studying, was sending letters and postcards. So, you know, we used snail mail back in when I was studying, but I did used to like going to get postcards. So, when we were in different places in Hawaii, whether it's at PCC where we used to work at the Polynesian Cultural Centre, I'd buy a little postcard and send it. So I guess I'm saying like back then. So those were more of our photos that we'd use. And definitely Hawaii has the best postcards. They have really lovely postcards. And so those were different things that I would grab to send to my family. And I guess it's that idea of being handwritten, and it's something personal that you've touched and you've done yourself, makes it a little bit more special. So celebrate special occasions together, creating something like this, or a Zoom party, or there's a few different live party activities that you can do. So planning virtual celebrations, parties, weddings, if you're not able to attend. We also have, and this is of course the sad time of special occasions, but during death, especially during the pandemic, that was something that was a lot more apparent because of not being able to participate. So weddings and deaths, I think it helps you. It would never replace you being there, but it's it's something that sort of helps to bridge you guys closer together. And also including them in your journey. So I guess like how Puni talked about the photos and videos, but making special mention in your videos to say whether you're going out and saying, hey, mum, I've come here, or, doing a special message to dad or your friend while you're at a certain place, especially if it's somewhere that they would love to visit. I know Australia is a place heaps of people love visiting. And if it's not a place they've been before, or maybe they have been and they recognize it, then it brings back good memories for them. So yeah, definitely share those photos and include them in your journey. And yeah, what about you guys? Is there any more to add?
Kind of touched base on everything.
Good.
And I guess just with what you said, Sylvs, with celebrating special occasions, I turned 21 when I was an international student, and 21 is a big birthday for a lot of us, and so I wasn't necessarily able to celebrate with my family in person, but we were able to Skype them in, and my family and friends in Hawaii were able to put together a little celebration for me there, and they were able to participate via Skype. So, I mean, they weren't there in person, but it felt like that they were a part of that, which made me feel less homesick during that time. And it made me feel a lot more connected to them also when I turned 21. But just in addition to what Puni and Sylvs have added, there's also making sure that we so you can coordinate time zones, because here in Australia, our time, well, here in the Australian Eastern Standard Time, if you're studying here in Queensland, it's different from obviously the time where your home country is. And so making sure that you know those times will make it easier to stay connected to your families. I know I've made the mistake of sometimes calling my family when it's like 3 a.m. and we're like asleep. So giving my parents a heart attack them thinking that something's wrong.
Yeah.
Making sure we coordinate those times. Also, creating a family blog or a group. So I know on like Facebook, you can create groups, just like private ones, just for your family. And also, Sil's kind of touched on it earlier. You know, Google Photos or uploading photos through that, and then allowing your family access to those photos or videos that you have. Also, involving your family in like decision making, that will kind of help you feel a lot closer to them. So when you're making important decisions, so whether that looks like if you're kind of stuck on certain courses or classes that you want to take, asking advice of your parents, whether you should take this one or the other, and that way it makes them feel valued and makes them feel connected to you even though you're abroad. And then I guess our last tip is just making time to plan family visits. I know as an international student in Hawaii, we were only allowed to see our family a couple of times, but every time we made those plans to, for whether it was me coming to Australia to see them or them coming over to Hawaii to see me, it was always, a great time because I was always anticipating it with excitement. I'm not sure if you Sylves have a similar experience, but it's definitely something to look forward to when you plan those family visits.
Yeah. I wasn't fortunate enough to have my family come to visit me in Hawaii. Except, actually, no, I did. My brother did. Oh, goodness, I forgot about that one. So my brother did come to visit me, and yeah, that was the best. I did find after he left, I did get a little bit more homesick, I have to admit, but it was really good having him there. And I guess he was able to see too from the different photos I had sent or different experiences I did. He was able to go, oh, okay, I remember when you sent that, or I remember when this happened. So yeah, I do remember that one time. It was the best. It was the best having him there. So yeah. Awesome.
And so I guess, we just wanted to give out some ideas or tips for our international students who are studying here, on things that they can do to keep that connection with their family while they're abroad. We know that it can be difficult studying overseas and leaving everything that's familiar to you and trying to learn a new way of life and adapting. And so we think it's important to continue to keep those connections with your loved ones back home. But I guess, are we able to like link these or copy these tips into?
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely copy these tips into our introductions on our Facebook and Instagram and YouTube platforms, our different platforms. I was also going to add to that, Shah, that it really helps it's not only a good way for you to sort of stay connected to your family, but I know your family are missing you as well. And a lot of times they're wondering, like, are they okay? Are they healthy? Are they looking after themselves? And so that regular contact with them, it also gives them some peace, and it helps them feel like, oh, okay, this is a good thing that my child is doing, and they're safe, and I feel like they look happy. Of course, we want you also to be honest about what you're experiencing. So don't just put happy things, as sometimes we see all the time on social media. You only show the best parts. But I think it's just important for your family to see, like, okay, they can actually visually see you in what you're doing. But yeah, I think these are definitely important tips to put on our social media so we can share that with you guys. But that's
I'd like to add something to what Sylvia said. So basically when you connect with your family and say you're going through a hard time at school, or stressful time since exams are coming up, and you get that message from your family, or like you have those conversations or calls with your family, I feel like it's able to relieve some of your stress, because it's kind of like you're able to make that connection again. But yeah, I feel like if you're ever feeling down or anything like that, just message one of your family members, or try have a call with a family member, because it can really help in those stressful times.
Yeah.
That's
And
good advice.
and one more thing to add too, we're just adding over here. I think too, like this, not only because I know some of you have left partners or spouses even. I know we did have a student from Saudi who had left his family. His family had returned back to Saudi and he came back to Australia. So even it may not be just your family, like your parents or your siblings, but it can be spouses or partners.
Children, yeah.
Yeah. And so these are really important ways to keep that connection, because as Shah said about time zones, having that relationship across that long distance can be really stressful on both parties. And so it's definitely a way to not only alleviate your homesickness, but that connection with your partner or spouse. So yeah, that's really important.
Yeah, those are really important tips. And, if you are an international student that's already here in Australia and you are, on this live with us, there's tips that you've had that you feel that we haven't mentioned. Feel free to leave a comment below, so that whoever is preparing to come over, they can, add that to their toolbox along with what we've been able to discuss today. But is there anything else that you guys wanted to add?
No, I think that's pretty good. And we'd love to hear, as Charlene said, leave your tips. We'd love to hear from you, even if you just want to pop in a hi, and let us know how we're going. This is probably day 9, I'd say. Day 9 or 10 of our challenge. And so we would just love to hear your comments, your feedback, and even if you've got any other suggestions for ideas for topics that we can share with you. So we just are going steamrolling ahead, but if you do have any topics that you like, I specifically want to hear about this, then also let us know. But thanks for today, Shah.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow, bright and early. Too tired,
we will get there, guys.
We're getting there slowly. And so, we just thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And we hope you guys have a great day.
Awesome. Have a good one, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Take it easy. Bye.